Welcome to Doug in Exile. Tim Scott just announced that he's putting together a presidential search committee. That means he's going to run. I'll let you know how this affects Trump at the end of this video, but first, let's hear from Tim Scott.
If the radical left gets their way, millions more families will be trapped in failing schools, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and crushing inflation. Not on my watch.
That's his campaign ad. That's part of his campaign ad. Here he is on Fox.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott just announced he is launching a 2024 presidential exploratory committee.
I have found that people are starving for hope. They're starving for an optimistic, positive message that is anchored in conservative values. I can't think of a better story to tell than the story of America.
Okay, he's going for aspirational. By the way, this is naturally who Tim Scott is. That was Reagan's way. By the way, this was what Trump did back in 2016. That is the Make America Great Again message is aspirational. I don't hear that so much from him now, where now his job is to tell people how bad America is because of Biden. And I don't think that's a winner strategy. I think Trump needs to go back to being aspirational with Make America Great Again. But here's Tim Scott going positive.
This is a land of opportunity, not a land of oppression. That the drug of victimhood being sold by Joe Biden and the radical left is wrong. We believe in the power of individual responsibility. I couldn't be more excited.
This is specifically a message that's been popularized by black conservatives as an alternate to what liberals are offering. I would love him as president, but I still think this is kind of a vice president run. But here's what Democrats are saying about him. This is hilarious.
Tim Scott wants to govern from the far conservative right as a proud member of the Tea Party, and his extreme record proves it.
He's extreme. He's too extreme. He acts like my accountant.
Scott was a fierce advocate of the MAGA agenda, supporting national abortion bans and championing plans to end Medicare and Social Security as we know them.
Yes, that's extreme to Democrats, also known as being sane, humane, loving, and kind. Radical.
Well, I'm glad they're afraid of me. This is a wonderful concept. I will say this, that my life disproves their lies. And that's why they're so afraid when conservatives stand up to be counted. Listen, our time in the majority produced the best economy we've seen in my lifetime. It was the most inclusive economy in the history of our country. African-American unemployment hit the lowest level ever recorded. Hispanics, lowest level ever recorded. Asians, lowest level ever recorded. Women, a 70-year low in the overall population, a 50-year low. We did that at the same time of reducing taxes for single mothers by 70%, dual income households by 60%. And guess what? We have more money coming to the Treasury because lower taxes ignites a fire on our economy. So there's no question that the DNC should be afraid of me.
Sure.
Man, that's a great message for lower middle class, for minorities. Notice he's hitting the minorities, saying that Trump, that his plan brought their unemployment to low records, including opportunities for women. This is why I think this is kind of a vice president run for him. And traditionally, the vice president does have to run. Usually the president picks from that pool of guys. He picks the best one. I think Tim Scott could be the best partner for Trump.
I thank God Almighty that I had mentors and a mother who believed that prayer was the key and faith unlocks those doors. They never surrendered. They always believed the best was coming. I want to share that message. I want to share the gospel truth that faith in America means faith in each other, faith in God, and faith in our future.
He's using my vocabulary when he's using the gospel and faith. This guy is right on message. And I think he has inroads into the evangelical community that Trump can't touch because of the way he acts and the way he talks. Tim Scott is an authentic Christian. He has a great story. I think he's going to go to Iowa and tear it up with Christians. By the way, this is what Pence brought to the Trump ticket back in 2016. He had way more inroads. People didn't trust Trump as a Christian. They didn't see him maybe as a Christian. Tim Scott is that guy that Trump needs. So Carrie Lake represents one kind of vice president. I don't believe she's going to be the one that Trump goes for, but Trump does need someone like that for female voters. Tim Scott, I think he's someone that Trump would get. He's already supported Trump and Trump has already liked him. As long as Tim Scott doesn't attack Trump, remember, Trump won't attack him back.
The field of play is focusing on President Biden's failures. What Americans want to see is the contrast between the radical left and the blueprint to ruin America and why our policies actually work. I believe that Psalms 139 tells us that we are all uniquely and fearfully made.
Last clip, then I'll give you the response of the Trump people.
As opposed to trying to have a conversation about how to beat a Republican, I think we're better off having a conversation about beating Joe Biden.
That's the Ron DeSantis method too, is do not attack a fellow Republican. That's what you do when you're afraid of the one Republican, Donald Trump, that you have to attack to get the nominee. They ain't doing it, okay? I'm going to go, how about if I attack the Democrat? Here's Jason Miller. This is one of the inside guys. One of Trump's advisors says this is on Twitter, Tim Scott announces that he's doing a presidential exploratory committee. Jason Miller's response, this is really bad for DeSantis. DeSantis is still the only candidate that Trump is concerned about. And I think DeSantis is really, over the last, say, 6 weeks, has been waning quite a bit or really just holding where he's at. And Trump is on the rise. I'm Doug in exile.